It is summer here in New England, which means it has been over 90 degrees for several days. What are some tips for running in the summer? Don't do it. Okay, maybe just kidding, but maybe not. Protect your future runs. That's the most important thing. So we're going to talk about how to avoid the heat, how to prepare for the heat, things that might be helpful, and then things to look out for. First thing, how do you avoid the heat? You can always not run. Seriously, don't risk your health over a workout. If we're trying to be healthy, make sure you take care of yourself. You can run in the morning, run later in the day, like at night. Basically, you're trying to either get out there before it gets too hot or get out there after it starts to cool down. Now, on days when it's 104, cooling down is a relative term. So another strategy you might use is run indoors. You may not have access to an indoor track, but maybe a treadmill. They're not the most fun, but it's an option. Treadmills are expensive, although you can usually find some good deals on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Buy Nothing groups, but you also need to have the space for one. You may also consider a gym membership. I know for years I paid $10 a month to Planet Fitness so I could have access to a treadmill for days when it was too hot, it was too cold, thundering and lightning, or if it was too icy. And I called that my treadmill tax. Basically, I just wanted to have access in case I needed to run for a training plan and it wasn't safe because of the weather or the road conditions. So that's how you can avoid the heat. How do you deal with the heat? First thing, hydrate. Hydrate and then hydrate. And not just during the run, but before the run. You want to make sure that you are drinking enough water, and you want to make sure that you consider an electrolyte replacer. Everybody's body is different, but in this kind of heat, a lot of people need to replace more than just water because you're not just sweating water. So you might consider something like Nuun, your little tablets that you put in your water and they dissolve and they have electrolytes in them. You might also want to consider one of the common electrolyte replacers you find. Liquid IV, Drip Drop. There are a whole bunch of different brands of little straws with powder in them that you mix into your water. There's also liquid versions that you can use. You can even make your own. There are recipes out there where you add a little bit of different types of fruit juice and some salt to water just to get some more of those nutrients that you're going to lose when you're running. I'm somebody when I run, even in the winter, like if I start sweating, you can see salt crystals on my temples. So that's one way to hydrate before you run. You want to also hydrate while you run. You can get one of those belts that has little water bottles. They also have them that slip in. I'm a big fan of handheld. I have run a bunch of marathons with one of these. I love them because it just clamps onto your hand. You don't even have to hold onto it. There are newer versions that are collapsible, that as you drink water, they get smaller and you can stick them in a pocket. They also have vests with water bottles here, and they have backpacks with a bladder in the back and a straw that you can drink from. If you don't have the money or resources, or you just don't want to buy equipment, find out where the water fountains are. Plan your route around drinking fountains. You could also grab a water bottle from your house, stash it someplace nearby. Maybe put it in your mailbox, put it by your front steps, put it in a bush or someplace where you can run past, pick it up, have a drink of water. I know it seems excessive to carry one of these for a 3-mile run, but you know what? Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And you can even fill it halfway with water and freeze it and then fill it the rest of the way. And then you have cold water for your run. And that works for pretty much every water bottle type situation you might have. Some other things you're going to want to have: sunscreen. You want to wear sunscreen. I'm a big fan of this from Trader Joe's. It is affordable and kind of disappears, which is great. Also really like those sticks, especially for on my face. I like the ones that are made for kids at the beach because they tend not to irritate my eyes as much if I start sweating. But you definitely want to wear sunscreen because you want to avoid things like sun poisoning. You want to have appropriate clothes So no cotton. Find something that is breathable, that is light, moisture wicking, so you're not running and sopping clothes. You may want to consider something like Body Glide, where you can avoid chafing, and you want something that's kind of flowy. I have run multiple marathons in a tank top I got that is perforated, so it covers, but it's also very breathable, and it is my lightest piece of clothing I own. So just know what works for you. Good socks, because your feet are gonna sweat, and good socks help prevent blisters. So yeah, those are some things. Another thing you might want to consider are salt tabs. Like we talked about with hydration, you're gonna potentially be losing a lot of nutrients, and some folks find that carrying salt tabs are helpful. They make them in chewable and non-chewable varieties. You can usually get them at a local running store, local sporting goods store. Again, you want to replace the things you're losing. And there are some things that you definitely want to keep an eye out for. One of them is heat injury. So you want to pay attention if you start feeling cool, feeling dizzy, get a headache that comes on right away. If you or someone you know starts getting confused or slurring their speech, heat injury is serious and it can lead to some very serious outcomes. So you want to make sure that if somebody starts having some of these symptoms, that they get out of the heat, that they cool off, that they drink some water, and keep an eye on them. I personally have had to go to the emergency room for heat stroke, had to be on IV fluids. I do not recommend it. So pay attention, try to stay ahead of it, and protect your future runs, because missing one workout is better than getting sick and potentially missing more. Something else to keep in mind is that there are certain health conditions and medications that may make you more susceptible to heat injury. Here is a list of a bunch of different types of medications that may make you susceptible to heat injury. If you have a cardiac condition, high blood pressure, if you have certain mental health conditions where you're taking medication, certain types of medications make you more vulnerable to heat injury. So know the risks for the medications you take. And if you don't know, you can look at the little paper that comes in the box. You can talk to your local pharmacist or your doctor to find out, and be aware, because if you are on one of those medications or you do have one of those medical conditions, you need to take precautions and be aware of when you might have symptoms so that you can address those right away. So let me know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Let's share some ideas in the comments, and I hope you have a good run. See you soon.